So let me go back to the text. So where we stopped at Kulotirna Bhagaradhya Maya Madhumati Mahi Ghanamba Kuhyakaradhya Komalangi Gurupriya. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, Vinaji? Gurupriya was the last one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that one is. We have to start with Komalangi.
Swatantra. We will start with Swatantra from that Nama onwards. So Swatantra, if we break it into into two parts. Swa means self, meaning the highest authority, Shiva. So therefore, this Nama means that she is the embodiment of 64 Tantras that has been described in previous Nama Chatushashti Kalamayi. So in the Tantra, Shastras do not fructify without invoking her. So Tantra also means dependence. So Swa means Shiva here. Tantra is dependence. Dependent on Shiva is one meaning. This could mean the interdependence of Shiva and Shakti. So even in Kalika Purana, there is a line that says Shiva ever lives in that place, sporting with his Shakti. This Nama can also be a reaffirmation of Chatushashti Kalamayi. Swatantra also means the unobstructed will of the Absolute. This is the willpower of Shiva, the Prakasha form of the Parabrahman. Shiva, which by means of power of he has transferred his absolute and unobstructed will to Shakti. And this transferred energy could also be called as Swatantraya Shakti. Shakti holding this energy is known as the Vimarsha form of the divine. So here, Swatantra, one Mata who is free, self-willed, independent, uncontrolled, or carrying the, dependent on the Shiva, you can take in different ways. Or this Swatantra Shakti, the energy that comes from the Parabrahman is interpreted here as Swatantra. Anything to add on to that? Vasu, Srinivas, Shyam.
Never had such a detailed explanation. Simply it is independent, right? In Telugu, Swatantra means who is completely independent.
Yes. Yeah.
Free from everything, kind of. Free
from everything. Yeah, I guess here they are Swa also means the Shiva, the Parabrahman. So, so I think Swatantra, they are bringing the unobstructed will of the independence of the Absolute, and that is why we are calling here, and that personification is Mata, Swatantra.
Is it Swa means self also, right? That means
what
that.
Is it?
So what self means like it all belongs to Tantra means Swa means like self. Tantra means it all belongs to Amma, Lalitha.
So, yeah. So Tantra also means dependence.
Yeah.
So dependent on the on that highest form of universal
Swa means in addition to the self, he's saying there is another meaning for Shiva, the supreme energy, supreme
energy, being. The highest authority. Because every self is part of that energy. You can so that Swa refers to that supreme energy, which is the Parabrahman.
So Swatantra means who controls that supreme being, or who is under the control of that supreme being.
So one who is under the control of that supreme being, and which is Mata, because she is the Shakti form. So she is the Swatantraya Shakti. The energy that is that unobstructed will, unobstructed will that Shakti he has transferred the Shakti, the unobstructed will to the Shakti, and that Shakti is called Swatantraya Shakti. That Shakti is independent, but that Shakti is independent. Is again dependent on the Parabrahman. That's where it comes from.
My book says she is the only independent being.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess here we are saying independent, not dependent on anything. But if you break Sva Tantra into two, Tantra also means dependence, and dependent on what? That supreme.
That's where the Swa means self, basically. So self-control. So nobody else can control. Who is under her own control?
Under own control.
Yeah, Swa means, in addition to standard meaning is self. So Swatantra means who is dependent on nobody else but self, who is self-controlled kind of.
Yeah, and I think here, Shiva and Shakti, Aikyam is what that Parabrahman, right? I think Shiva Shakti Aika Rupini is what she is. So I guess it's a combination of both, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So now, again, the next nama is again Sarva Tantreshi, right? So what does that mean here? So Sarva means every, all, Tantras, and Ishwari is the chief. So Sarva Tantreshwari. In that way, she is the presiding deity of all Tantras. This is again extension of previous nama. Sarva Tantra Swarupini. Tantra practice does not fructify without invoking her. She forms the foundation of all Tantras. Sri Vidya rituals can be classified under Vaidika principles as well as Tantrika methods. So for everything, she is the Ishwari for Sarva Tantras. And here, they are talking about the Tantras. So again, she's the controller of that. Without her grace, those Tantras don't practice, the Tantra practice don't fructify. So what are Tantras? Tantras are spiritual practices and rituals, which again, what it does, what is the eventual outcome of these spiritual practices and rituals? It's just again self-awakening and mukti, moksham. So Tantras are also, it's like, unified. If you have like a formula, right, you have a tool with this yantra. Tantra is the exact formula to use the tool yantra to reach the God, which is the moksham. And so all these spiritual practices and rituals, even that you have a tantra, you have a formula, it cannot fructify until Mata blesses it. So that's why she's Sarva Tantreshwari. Anything to add on to that? And any other comment for this?
Not all tantras give moksha. Only Swatantra gives moksha, not all tantras.
Okay.
Swatantra is nothing but a Sri Vidya Tantra. That only gives moksha. The other tantras gives like different things.
Okay. So I guess different things might be material success. Is that what?
Yeah.
No, maybe not. Okay. Anything else?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. 3 words: Sarva Tantra Isha. So.
Sarva Tantra Isha. Yeah. So the next nama is Dakshinamurti Rupini. Dakshinamurti is the form of Lord Shiva as a spiritual preceptor, who's the embodiment of Lord Dakshinamurti is what they're saying here. Dakshinamurti is Shiva's preceptor form or the Guru form. And some people confuse Dakshinamurti with Jupiter, but Guru Bhagavan is different and Dakshinamurti is different. But yeah, here the Lord in the form of Dakshinamurti who has 8 aspects. The first 5 aspects are the 5 elements. In the Veda, the world is presented in the form of 5 elements: Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apa, water, Prithvi. In this Vedic model of the universe, the 5 elements are non-separate from the Lord. They're part of the world. They constitute the Lord's form, which is the universe. So the next 2 aspects are represented by the sun and the moon. The moon represents all planets other than the earth. And the sun represents all luminous bodies, all the stars. The 8th aspect is the Jiva, the one who is looking at the world. These 8 aspects are to be understood as one whole, and that is Lord. When we look at the form of Dakshinamurti, we can see representations of these 5 elements, and the space. Akasha is represented by the Dhamaru in his hand. In order to show space in a sculpture, it needs to be enclosed. So the empty space is enclosed in the Dhamaru as a representation, which is also creates a sabda. The Vayu, air, is represented by Dakshinamurti's hair with the bandhana, right? That represents air. And the holding his hair in place against the wind, which comes from the root band, the bind. In his left hand, you see a torch, which represents Agni, the fire. Water is shown by the Ganga in the form of goddess, which you can see in Dakshinamurti's head. Prithvi, the earth, is represented by the whole idol. And then there are 4 people, right? The Sanat Kumaras. So those are Sanat, Sanaka, Sananda, Sanandana, Sanatana, and Sanat Sujata, who are the disciples of Dakshinamurti, who are nothing but Jivas. The sun and the moon are also shown on Dakshinamurti's either. You look at his head in the locks. One side you will see sun, one side you will see moon. So in this way, right? All the sun, moon are also on the left side. You'll see that you'll find a crescent moon. On the right side, you'll see the sun, the whole circle, right? And then the 2 planets and everything. So when you worship Dakshinamurti as the Lord, the one who is Ashtamurti Bhrita, you can invoke him. You can invoke the entire world, right? When you invoke the Lord, you invoke the entire world, and you invoke him as a teacher. His very sitting posture, the asana, is a teacher's asana. And if you look at his hand gesture, that shows what he teaches. His index finger, the one we use to point at others, represents the ahankara. The other 3 fingers, right? If you look at Dakshinamurti, he has Chin Mudra, right? Well, I think it is Chin Mudra. I don't know the exact name. The index finger, which he touches the thumb, right? And the other 3 fingers, basically the right hand, the thumb joins the other fingers to form a circle, teaching that Jiva, who takes himself to be the body, mind, and senses, is the whole. The circular gesture, right? The circular gesture that he forms using his hand is the Upadesam, teaching Tattvamasi. You are that. Just as a circle has no beginning or end, you are the whole. That is the final word, that is what he represents, that circle created. So those are the different things. And the spiritual, the Japamala has a meaning. And Dakshinamurti is seated on a bull, which is representation of tamasic Shakti, right? And then he controls the Maya. So underneath there is a fellow called Apasmara, the one who throws obstacles in your life. Although there will be obstacles, with the grace of Lord, you can keep them under check and not allow them to overpower you. Dakshinamurti will control them. It might throw you off course, but worshipping him who controls that Apasmara will make sure you move forward. So this is all the meaning of Dakshinamurti Rupam, and she is the Dakshinamurti Rupi. Anything to add on to this? Okay. And again, what is the Dakshina? Is the direction, right? He faces the direction of the south. And Dakshinamurti stotras are available. Dakshinamurti, the next is the only form of Shiva who teaches self-realization. Okay. It is said that when Sati Devi burnt herself, started meditating on his own self facing south. At that time, the Sanat Kumaras approached him to teach them self-realization. So he was in the time of, he was observing silence. Even in the Dakshinamurti Stotram, that Maunam, that it starts with that, right? Maunam is in this form of silence. After knowing the quest of all the four senses of Brahma, he taught them without breaking his silence. He taught them. The teaching was done through what? Through Chin Mudra, which is what I was mentioning. The two fingers indicate the Parabrahman and Jivan. When these two fingers unite, it means the union of soul and Parabrahman. Dakshinamurti Ashtakam, written by Adi Shankara. It's a very, very beautiful one. And if you read that, that gives you much more information. So anything else to add on to this?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
I'm good.
Okay. The next nama is Sanakadi Samaradhya. Okay, what is that? Let's break it down. Here, Sanaka, the name of the Rishi, the one of the four sons of Brahma, Adi, etc. Sanaka, Adi, Sanaka and others. So, which means all the four of them. Samaradhan means what? Attending, serving, served by Sanaka and others, and worshipped. So that's what Sanaka, Sanananda, Sanat Kumara, Sanatana are the four great sages who are initiated by Dakshinamurti through his silence. There was a huge banyan tree under which they were seated. We always, in Gita also we talk about banyan tree, right? Banyan tree is being referred again and again, inverted banyan tree and banyan tree. So there is a reason why banyan tree is used as a symbolically for Dakshinamurti Swarupam. He sits under it. Just like how a huge banyan tree grows, and that's how the grass creates its branches from the subtle form. So these four devotees are also great devotees of Lalitambika. So the revered Sanat Kumara also freed Deva Rishi Narada from all his shortcomings and gave him and led him beyond darkness. So Sanat Kumara is considered as a man of perfect knowledge. Sanakadi Samaradhya. That's what that means. Basically, one who is served and worshipped by sages and rishis like Sanaka. They are considered as the first creations born from the mind of Brahma. Anything to add on to that?
No. Yeah, okay.
I'm always confused about those four names. It's given differently, I think. To me, it is
one is
Sanaka,
Sanaka and
Sanandana,
Sananda, Sanat Kumara and Sanat
and
Jata.
Sanat Sujata.
Yeah.
But
There are four
Sanatana,
people only.
but I heard this Sanatana something, which is very confusing to me. Where that Sanatana coming from?
Yeah, I
Sanaka,
mean it's
Sanandana, Sanat Sujata, Sanat Kumara. Basically.
Yeah.
So
They-
so right. So Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanatana, and Sanat Sujata is one.
Sanatana, I don't know where is that coming from. I never heard that. Sanat Sujata, Sanat Kumara. Yeah, Sanatana, I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
Sanatan is not there.
Yeah. So in one book, in Harsha Vidya Gurukulam, right, they have that Sanatana. Then another book, Sanaka, Sanadana. Okay, another book also has Sanadana, Sanandana, Sanandana, and Sanat Kumara. And then the third one has Sanaka, Sanat Kumara, Sanananda. I think Sanatana, Sanat Sujata also is not there in some places. Yeah.
Actually, that is very important name because there is a Sanat Sujatiyam. It's like Astavakra Gita. There is a Sanat Sujatiyam where I think Sanat. I don't know who Sanat Kumara, Sanat Sujata. Somebody gave a Upadesha to Dhritarashtra, right? Is it Sanat Kumara, Sanat Sujata? That's called Sanat Sujata, I think. It's called a chapter in Mahabharata. It's called Sanat Sujatiyam.
So they lived in Mahabharata time.
Yeah, Vidura request sometime Dhritarashtra was very irritated and very anxious, and he asks Vidura to give some Upadesham. Then Vidura tells everything he knows, and then says, "This is all I can say," and he invokes Sanat Sujata. And he comes and but she says that is a fate. How many sages, whatever they preached, Dhritarashtra was everything was temporarily he was okay, but the moment they leave, is again get entangled in all these things.
In this passion, the okay. So Sanat Kumara liberated sage Narada, like that. Sanat Sujata did Upadesam to Dhritarashtra, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in my book, there is like, Para, Pasanti, Madhyama, Vaikari. All these fours are one. Sanaka is represents Para, and Sananda, Pasyanti, and Sanat Kumara is Madhyama, and Sanat Jata is Vaikari.
Yeah.
So they are all representing those four Upasargas.
Upasargas, okay. And please remind me, what is the Vaikari Rupam? What are the four again? Para,
Pasyanti, Madhyama, Vaikari. It's all part of Lalitha Sahasranama.
Okay. What are those? Vaikari, I forget the name. What those four represent? Para, and said what
Para represents the name. Pasyanti is Kriya. Madhyama is Avya Rupa, those things, and Vaikari is Upasargas.
Okay. So there is this the sound is there, right? The sound also has the four, whatever you're saying, four stages of sound. Para, Pashyanti, Madhyama, Vaikari. 4 stages of sound is also called that. Manifest. Okay.
Yeah.
Charvani.
The sound manifestation of Ishvara. Para manifests only in prana, Pashyanti in the mind, Madhyama in the Indriyas, Vaikari in articulate expression. Charvani, is it, Shyamji?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. That's a good. Those are all good additions. So yeah, we don't know what are the 4, but there are like 1 or 2 of them, little different. And In Chandogya Upanishad also talks about Sanat Kumara, it seems. All right. The next nama is Shiva Jnana Pradhayini. Right? She imparts the knowledge of Shiva, the ultimate Shiva knowledge, which is knowledge of the supreme knowledge or the Parabrahman. To know Shiva, one should first know his Shakti, who alone is capable of leading a person to Parabrahman. Just like how, to know Mahavishnu, you need the grace of Mata Mahalakshmi, like that. Yeah, over and over again, Shakti or the Shakti force is needed to realize or leading a person to Parabrahman. So it is said, Shiva is both Jnana and Kriya. He is the sovereign, pure, free will in knowledge and action. Based upon this principle, Shiva Sutras opens by saying, Chaitanya Matma. Chaitanya means consciousness of the highest purity and knowledge. There is no difference between Brahman and the highest form of consciousness. But how is Shakti alone is capable of unraveling Shiva? It is answered by Shiva Sutra, which says by meditating on Shakti, the universe disappears as a separate entity, thereby unveiling Shiva, illuminating Shakti, which means the Maya disappears, it seems. The process of such happening is described in Skanda Karika, or Kashmir. It's part of Kashmiri Shaivism. But entering the energetic circle of the cell, he becomes equal to that cell. So Sivajnanam, to get that, you need to meditate upon Mata. First, without meditating upon Shakti, we cannot realize the Parabrahman. She alone can lead to that. She alone can remove all the Maya. She chooses to impart the supreme knowledge and can realize Shiva. Hence, she is called Shiva Jnana Pradayini. So, I think the next nama also related. Shiva means auspiciousness, benign knowledge of the Shiva, knowledge of what that is auspicious. This also can be interpreted. Pradhan means gifting. Pradhan means gift. Dayin means to give. Pradayini means not just giving, but giving it as giving a gift of the knowledge, who grants the gift of supreme auspicious knowledge of Shiva. Anything to add on to this?
That's what my book says too.
Yeah. Swatantra Sarvatantreshi Dakshinamurti Rupini Sanakadi Samaradhya Shivajnana Pradayini. We can stop here. I guess it's 8. This is a lot of beautiful namas today.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else that you want to add on?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Deepak.
everyone.
Yeah.
Please.
Thank you. Yeah. See you next
Please
week.
do attend May 4th Bhajan and Parayana.
Is next Saturday? Is that next Saturday?
Yes, next Saturday.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good night. Bye.
Namaskar.
Namaste. Bye.
Thank you, Srikanth. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Srikanth. Bye.
Yeah. No problem. Thank you. Bye.